We have so many exciting spaces. We have rovers on Mars. We have a spacecraft on its way to Jupiter. We are exploring space on behalf of all of you. You invest in what we do. So please, recognize that when you meet astronauts, they are doing this on behalf of humankind, but also the American taxpayer. So the International Space Station is where these four individuals have only come back from in the last couple of weeks. It is an incredible treat to invite them up to the stage, and we could have Commander Chris Ferguson, Pilot Doug Hurley, Sandy Magnus, and Rex Wilhelm. Welcome to New York.
Who may not have the opportunities that some of us have had growing up, give them just a snapshot of what we're really doing out there. You know, I stood on the side looking at this photo up here, and you know, I think that we have the common tendency when we see incredible pictures like that to believe that somebody created that with Photoshop, or that's some kind of PowerPoint, or there was some retouching there. That is an actual photo of what's going on in low Earth orbit out there. That was a picture that was taken from a Soyuz spacecraft of the combined International Space Station and Space Shuttle just a few short months ago. So, you know, this isn't Xbox, this isn't, you know, virtual reality. These are the things that for that. What I'd like to do is, so you have an opportunity to just maybe share a few words with each member of the crew. I'll just complete the introduction of myself. I was the commander of the Space Shuttle, Atlantis, on a 12-day mission to take logistics and supplies up to the International Space Station. I was in flight, and I had days in the Navy. That's where I learned how to fly. I guess we've done this a couple times. I'd like to pass it off to the gentleman on my right who helped me get through this entire mission. He's the pilot, Doug Hurley. This was his second space flight. Doug is a colonel in the Marine Corps right now. This was his second mission. And he's a Hornet pilot. I'd like to really share a few words with you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody, for having us. We're glad to be here. We've had a great time in New York. I just want to tell you a quick story. You guys probably died, and we were fearless, and nothing goes wrong, and everything goes the way it's supposed to. Well, there we were about flight day 4 of the mission, and we had tucked ourselves into our sleeping bags. You know, we have to hook our sleeping bags to wherever we can find, otherwise we'd float away, float somewhere else. So anyway, there we were. About 2 hours into our sleep period. We get 8 hours. That's all we get. You know, no more, no less. The rest of the time they've got us doing stuff. But so you want to take advantage of it. If you have a tough time going, my mind was telling me there was a noise, a loud noise, and I opened up my eyes, and then I realized it was a master alarm, which you never hear in real spaceflight. You only see it in the movies. You only hear it in the simulator. You never see it for real. So then my next instinct was to look at the commander, who was sleeping across the middeck, and his head pops out of the sleeping bag and he says, "What was that?" And I go, "I don't know. What was that?" But before we even got to that point, have you ever had that moment where you woke up and you wondered, where the heck am I? That is exactly the way I felt. I had no clue I was in space. So you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I'm on the space shuttle. This is real. That's a real alarm. Chris just asked me what the noise was. Anyway, we floated up to the middeck, front sleeping bag, float up through where the ladder is, up to the flight deck, and our friends in mission control had the problem suitcase. It was actually a real failure. Our computer actually failed, which almost never happens. But anyway, we got through it. But that is just one of those things, you know, just like on Earth, you wake up sometimes and you don't know where you are. And it was probably the best night of sleep I had in space after that, so I don't know. To my right is Sandy Magnus. She is, as we like to say, the smartest person on our crew. Both in reality and on paper, because she is a PhD. She's from Belleville, Illinois. How many people do we have from Belleville, Illinois out there? But anyway, Sandy was our mission specialist 1, and usually we have about 4 mission specialists on a flight, but we only had 2, as you can see right here. And she was responsible for all the logistics that we had to do because we took up a huge amount of supplies for the space station. And she got it done, and she yelled at us a lot. So anyway, over to Sandy.
Well, it wasn't really yelling. It was more like can you go do this? And then can you go do that? And then can you go do this? Well, this was a really special mission for me. It's my third space flight, and my previous space flight was a long duration mission. I lived on space station for 4.5 months. And after that mission, I figured I was done. So when I got the call and said, hey, you want to do the last shuttle mission, it's like, of course, this is a great opportunity. I can go back to the space station and see how much it had changed in the last 2 years since I had been there. Because we had added some modules. We had added this beautiful thing called a cupola, which was a sort of a window room where we can do robotics and just watch the Earth go by. And I was really looking forward to seeing that. And sure enough, when we docked to the space station, we opened up the hatch, and I immediately felt like I was home. I had spent so much time there before. It was just so comfortable to go into the space station and just start working. And I have to tell you that the space station is just this really impressive place that we've been able to build over the last 11 years with 16 countries around the world. A little speck of light. And as we get closer and closer to the space station, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And even if you've seen it before, you're just amazed. It's like, how much bigger is this thing going to get? And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And if you think about something the size of a football field, in length and width out there flying around, that's what the space station is. This is an amazing building that we have built in space. And to be able to live there and actually have a life there was just a really special experience. And to visit it one final time was really special as well. But we were very busy. We didn't have a lot of time to gaze out the window, except for staying up late when I wasn't supposed to, so I could gaze out the window for an hour and a half. But we got all of our work done, and unfortunately all too soon we had to leave, landing about 3 weeks ago. But we left the station in really good shape. We've got enough supplies up there now to last for a year. And so we'll see how things commence with our commercial partners with their cargo missions that they're hoping to start. On my right is Mission Specialist 2, Rex Walhan, who's a retired Air Force colonel. Rex is our spacewalk expert. He's done 5 spacewalks in his previous 2 missions, and this was his 3rd mission. And he was instrumental in assisting the station guys get a spacewalk done while we were there.
Thanks, Sandy. And for 100 spacewalks to make this vehicle complete. Now, one of the tricky things, we attach the big pieces together and we hook them together electrically, but a lot of the pieces have never been fit together until we get there in space. So you can imagine the kind of size of relief we do when they all fit like in space like they're supposed to. But spacewalking is a great adventure. It's really an amazing lesson. So first thing in the morning, one of the people on the crew, and in our case it was Fergie, he gets the spacewalkers ready to go outside. So he has to put their suits on, and they're in the suits for about an hour to 2 hours before they go outside. So it's already going to be a very long day. They're going to be in the suit. And then we put them in a special module called the airlock, because you can't. We have an 85-foot tether, which is basically a really long leash. And so you hook that on there, that's hooked to you, metal wire kind of retracts and goes out like a vacuum cleaner hose. And you go to work, and it's really pretty spectacular because you spacewalk, which what you're really doing is going hand by hand all over this magnificent vehicle. And it's the size of about a football field across, so it's a long, big place, very physical activity. One of the fun things to do a spacewalk is when you get one of the folks to give you a ride on a robotic arm. It's about 60-foot long robotic arm, and you hook your heels in there. And when you do that, they can drive you around like a cherry picker, and you can have both hands free. So they can say, Sandy, can you take me over there 20 feet, please? And Sandy takes you over there 20 feet, and then you can grab one big item with both your hands, and you can take it someplace else. So it's a great way to do spacewalking. But like I said, it's an amazing vehicle, and we've been building it for about 10 years now. Now assembly is complete, and the shuttle has finished its mission. It's done what it was designed to do, and now we have the age of utilization. So for the next about decade almost, we're going to be using the space station as our national laboratory. It's going to be doing groundbreaking research that's already started, but it really couldn't concentrate in earnest on until now. When it's done, we can devote all our time to doing science, to learning about living in space longer term. So you're going to be hearing a lot about space station next 10 years. The U.S. astronauts continue to go there, not via the space shuttle, via Russian rockets at first, and then via commercial rockets. So got an exciting future coming up ahead of us. So I hope you guys will pay attention to that. And really thank you for inviting us out here tonight.